Alright guys, welcome back, and in this video, I'm going to teach you about strings. Now a string is text in computer programming. It's pretty much like a name, a sentence, any of that stuff. Now whenever you use text, or a string, you actually need to include it in between quotation marks, either double or single. If you just try writing anything like Jamahesh on the screen, hit enter, it's going to say invalid syntax. In other words, it thinks it's a variable or something. If you don't include it in between quotation marks. If you do that, you can type anything you want. And it's good to go, again, double quotes or single quotes. It doesn't matter. However, there are specific times where you're going want to use one or the other. Now one of those things is, say you have a sentence like, alright, I'm going to make a sentence that says, I don't think it is new thing. Well, what these quotes mean is it's pretty much telling Python where to begin and where to end. So in this above example, right up there started in single quotes before Jamahesh, and it ended after H here because that's where your quote is. However, this sentence, it uses actually one of these quotes right after the end. This apostrophe right here, Python is going to think that it starts before I, stops after N, and all the rest of this stuff, it's going to get confused. So whenever you have a sentence that does use a single quote, what you want to do is you want to put that in double quotes. So I don't think it is new thing, hit enter, and it will work fine. Now the opposite of that is, say that you have a sentence that you just double quotes like he said. Python is awesome programming language. Of course this is actually a quote or a sentence and it uses double quotes. So in this case you would want to surround it in single quotes. Easy enough now. Another thing that you're going to need to do sometimes is, what if your sentence has either double quotes and single quotes in it? Well, you can't just pick one or the other. So what you can do is called escaping a character. I'll show you how to do that right now. So actually, let me see if I can copy this. Alright. So in this example you see that it thinks it starts and stops right here. However, say that we have double quotes in here as well. So we need to surround this in single quotes. Well, what you can do is, whenever it thinks it's the end, and you actually just want to use it as part of your string, right before the quotation mark, you can use a backslash. And whenever you use backslash, and then a symbol after it, pretty much means just treat this as normal text. So then it's going to say, okay, start here. Okay, backslash this. So that's just normal, and end here. Boom. So again, backslash anything means it's a special meaning that says, treat this as part of the string. Whenever we print strings out in our regular program, we are not just going to use the regular text. We actually need to use something called a function. I will talk to you about functions later on. But the first that we are going to learn is print. It's very easy, it's how you print stuff out on the screen. So type print, and that means print stuff out on the screen. And now put parentheses. Now in between the parentheses type any string that you want. Hey, how are you doing? So this is actually how we are going to be printing. Hit enter. Pretty simple. Now another thing I should probably mention is this: sometimes you're going to want to, I show you an example, and I'll show you guys the problem it causes and how to fix it. Say that we wanted to print out a path to some folder on our desktop. So we can do is just, okay, where is it? See, maybe away desktop in a my new music. So you are expecting it to print out this entire string. Right here, hit enter. Okay, let's see what went wrong. Is head desktop, and then it went to a new line and said do music. No, I'm trying to get my new music, let my new music. So why is this? You know how I told you guys that whenever you use backslash in something after, it means something special. Well, in this case, in programming, whenever you use backslash n, it means go to a new line. It has a special meaning. So what this does is it starts printing this out, and it says, okay, backslash n, bump it to a new line, and then print the rest of it, which is music. So that's what did bump to new line or music. But of course, whenever we use this in our program, it's going to cause an issue, because this is going to confuse a program. So what happens when you actually want to print out this right here? Well, what you can do is right before your first little quotation mark, you can put R. Now what R means is print out the raw string with no special meaning. Just print it out as is. whatever is in between the quotation marks. So now you hit enter and check it out. So again you're going to use the R right before your strings. A lot whenever you're working with file paths and other stuff like that. So now that we know the basics of strings and how to print them out now, I want to show you guys something else that's well pretty cool in my mind. You can actually add together strings. Kind of like you can number, so let's make a variable called name and set it equal to a string called jar and add a space after it too. So now not only can we store numbers in variables, we can also store strings in variables. So what I can do is say something like this: name plus another string, my last name Mahesh. And it's going to say, okay, whenever you take a string and add another string to it, check it out. It makes an even longer string. So not only numbers, you can also add strings together. And another thing you can do is, you're not only limited to adding strings together. In Python what you can do is, you can also multiply strings. So if we have name, which is jar, and we multiply it by 7, check out what happens. What it does is it takes that string and it prints it out 7 times. So this is actually going to save us a lot of work whenever we have to print something out repeatedly, like people's names or anything like that. We can actually take a string and multiply it by some number to print it out that many times it happens, instead of having to write like 7 lines of code. So I know that was a lot to take in, but remember escape whenever you have to use a special character. Whenever you're working with file paths, use R before, which pretty much means rush string. And you can also perform mathematical operations on strings a lot like numbers. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Subscribe.